control of our borders and to put in place an Australian-style point system so we can choose the quantity and type of people that come to our country. We would no longer discriminate against people from India in favour of Eastern Europe. It would be a fair, ethical policy, and it would work.
Leanne Wood.
So you abuse immigrants and those with HIV and then complain that UKIP is being abused.
And the reality is this: if on May the 8th there are more anti-Tory MPs in the House of Commons than there are Tory MPs, then if we work together, we can lock David Cameron out of Downing Street. Yes, so tell me tonight, is it the case that you would rather see David Cameron go back into Downing Street than work with the SNP?
No,
surely that cannot be your position, Ed.
All right. No, the difference is, Nicola, this
in
election,
1979,
you fought Labour all your life,
2015.
Nicola.
We have a chance to kick David Cameron out of Downing Street. Don't turn your back on it. People will never forgive you.
All right.
That Labour are letting the Tories off the hook by committing to the Tories' spending plans. So, if you were Prime Minister, Ed, I wonder if you could tell us, would you be prepared to hold an emergency budget to reverse those Tory spending cuts that are causing so much pain to so many people in so many of our communities?
Well, you give me a real opportunity, Leanne. Let me tell you what's going to be in Labour's first budget.
I do want to say something to you, Ed, that you are on the record about. You're comfortable with a 5% private profit for private companies operating in the NHS.
All right.
We should have 0%
I want to come back on this.
All right, yes, and this is the last point, please, because as I said, we're not meant to be debating. Nicola Sturgeon.
Well, the most important deal I want to do on the 7th of May is with the Scottish people so that we can make Scotland's voice heard loudly and clearly in Westminster. I then want to see the back of the Tories. I will never, ever do a deal with the Tories. Let me make that crystal clear. The polls, though, show that Ed isn't strong enough to get rid of the Tories on his own. So I will work with Labour, with Leanne, with Natalie, so that together we can get rid of the Tories. But what I'd say to Ed is I want Ed to replace the Tories with something different and something better, something more progressive, because progressive change is what the country is crying out for. So that's my offer to Ed Miliband. If he's prepared to be better than the Tories, then I'm prepared to work with him to allow him to replace the Tories, which I think is what many people want to see.
There just seems to be a total lack of comprehension on this panel, and indeed amongst this audience, which is a remarkable audience, even by the left-wing standards of the BBC. I mean, this lot's pretty left-wing.
Hang on a second.
But very interesting.
Hang on a second.
When you talk
Nigel,
about housing,
let me just say one thing. This is an audience that has been carefully chosen, not by the BBC, but by an independent polling organisation to represent the balance between all parties.
It's never a great idea.
Very good.
Very good. Very good.
Anyway, carry on.
I think it's very interesting.
It's never a great idea to
cannot
the
discuss,
audience, Nigel, in my...
The real audience are sitting at home, actually.